Oh my god, this is like a new chair. Thanks, Toby.
Wow.
No, I thought it was because of the way you had it lined up.
And welcome to Allerton.com for the Game of the Year Awards 2016. And we are bringing you guys the best developer for 2016 in video games. And what we're going to do is give you the list.
I think Jason just needs to write that down so he doesn't forget that this is probably his best moment of 2017. So, a little preview.
So let's start off the list with a couple of developers that you guys might know. Is it Visual Concepts, Creative Assembly, IO Interactive, Respawn? Dude, we pretty much labeled every...
Yeah, if you're a developer.
If you made a game this year, you're on our list.
Yeah, if you made a top tier game.
What is that? Firaxis?
Yep.
Firaxis?
Yep.
Naughty Dog, Frontier, Superhot Team, Blizzard, and Niantic.
Should we start knocking some people?
Labs. Yeah, let's start knocking some shit around.
I'm gonna knock Frontier off. They made a great theme park game, but in many different videos you'll watch, there's strategy, PC game. We talk about how they missed some modes, so that's gone. Naughty Dog, I mean, they just made an Uncharted game. It was a great Uncharted game, but that's kind of all they did this year. You okay with that? Respawn.
Titanfall 2 was
not
as good as
that
the first
story, though. They did a lot of work on that story bring it to the...
you know what? I'm okay with it. I get what you're saying on that one.
To take a multiplayer game and give it such an amazing story, you're cheating yourself for not playing it so far. But like to give it an amazing story on a game that only was based around multiplayer is really crazy. Like to see. Like a company
that's
so
cool.
I want to hang on to them for just a little bit longer.
It comes down to like 3 people for me. It's like Niantic, Blizzard, and then I think what id Software did with Doom was pretty amazing because that game looked like it was supposed to be a hot pile.
I was going to say something else. Firaxis?
That one is,
Civ 6 and XCOM 2 this year.
That's true. That's why I have Blizzard on as my number 1, I think.
2 phenomenal games, dude, that have ranked highly in our awards. I don't know if any of them got them. You might have to check out our YouTube video.
No spoilers on that.
And check that out. But yeah, I mean they didn't just do one great game or revitalize one. They made 2 really excellent
good job
games
of improving both games. So like I'm for keeping them on.
What about Blizzard, man? Overwatch, the
support
has continued to be amazing. Heroes of the Storm. I think they just put a pro patch out for Diablo 3 on PS4. Like, they continue to
free shit all over the place. Diablo's got some new stuff, dude. Get some Diablo swag in every single one of their games.
And in a year when people release games and they're so broken, and they come up with these giant patches, all their games come out and they're like flawless.
And where people always charge for DLC or in-game cosmetic, not in-game cosmetics because they have a shit ton, but like they're giving out maps and characters for free in all their games.
Like Square's not on here. Because of their DLC.
Yeah, it holds people back. I mean, Toby, which one on there do you... IO Interactive, Hitman.
Oh, I put IO in the same rank as id. Like, they made this game that they brought back that they made it do these amazing things that we didn't expect.
Yeah.
I mean, Niantic made Pokemon Go. The biggest game of the year.
There's still a lot. But there was a lot of stuff that's wrong with that game.
Well, as a developer, the thing that I think they made an amazing game. What they didn't do was listen to the fans. And then after that game released, they made tons of changes that really affected the player base. And they continue to make changes that are negative and some that are benefiting themselves, more or less, when they first came out with it. And when we did our video for Allerton.com, the pathing thing was working perfectly. You would know exactly where you would walk to and find it. But they had such an overload of people getting their game, they had to take that feature out. So they lost that. But they didn't supplement something else. So what people did was they created their own way of finding them. They still didn't, until like 2 months ago, put something back in the game to help you find Pokemon. So yeah, unless you're in crowded areas or you're around a lot of people, that initial feature, which really excited people to walk and explore and know that they're walking in the right direction that worked, got ripped away by them. And they didn't really replace it.
Against them that they made a game that was so successful that nobody could...
I think their support. I think the support throughout the year has been shitty.
You just imagine, you make a game and like 30 million people download it in a week. No one in the history of the world...
Slap Pokemon on there and they made it free.
Mario had 90 million.
Yeah, but and it's dead. Like like it died. It didn't do shit for sales.
Yeah, but still.
And it's Mario.
I think I'm looking at like developer as like continued support and like
Pokemon wasn't a success because it was free. It was a success because they made an unbelievably compelling game that brought people together and made them want to go out and do things. That game, that design of that game was different than any game that they had made previously. It was similar to that game where you defended towers, but going out there and flicking the ball and doing these things, it made them. I think they made a really strong game.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, like I will not give it to them because of the support that they provided, and they went out of their way to waste time shutting down all these other places that were just, and they wasted time and effort talking about and like investigating and doing all these other things and spending time on getting all these other countries up and running when they didn't even have it up and running fully in the United States. They're working on launching it in all these other places. So instead of like
but that's such a lose-lose situation, right?
But it's
because
like
America's loving it.
Yeah, and like
and the rest of the world wants this thing that's a phenomenon, and you can't deliver it to Japan. And you can deliver it to all these other people, but all you have to do is take away one feature from America. From greedy America. We want all the best features, fuck the rest of the world. I mean, come on, that's like weird. That's like being mad at them for something they can't
But then
control.
and then as you explore it, they didn't do anything to help everyone else. So like there's literally no way for me, you can walk around outside my house to find any Pokemon. So that was the only feature. By getting rid of it, you stripped me from a game and made a game that, and it's not just me, but it's anyone who's not in a city is affected by like how the game played up until like 2 months ago.
I mean, I can tell you're very passionate about this. So
I loved it when it first came out.
But I think you're faulting a developer for something that they could never have predicted. Like,
well, they couldn't have predicted.
Here's a direct but
they never acknowledged it. They didn't even talk about it.
Oh my god, they tried to make fixes. Like, you just didn't like their fixes. Like, Capcom releases Street Fighter 5, right?
Yeah.
And the online doesn't work on day one. That's on them. Because you know how many people are going to play Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But we can drop Niantic. That's fine. I still think it's kind of a travesty based on the fact that they created the
compared to
biggest
what
game
Blizzard
of the
has
year.
done this year that you just talked about, and like the two phenomenal
it's
games.
It's rare
like
in our
Firaxis,
lifetime that someone creates a game that
is such
captures
a
the world
phenomenon.
Like Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And you can't just say, oh, it's because it's Pokemon. That's because there's Pokemon games on 3DS, and there's
Are they free?
No, but it's not the same. You could make those games if you make Pokemon Sun and Moon free on the 3DS, people would not go out and buy 3DS to play the Pokemon Go.
No, because they
people that have the 3DS
free
and people that have the 3DS wouldn't be like, oh my god, I'm getting this because it's free. It's just not the same. It was because that game, the way that game
it appealed
integrated
to
with society that it worked. And it's weird to fault them because they made something so successful that they couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, well, it's not a fault that I think for me it's mainly the communication. They never acknowledged, they never talked about, and they never really until the last couple of months when they saw a huge decline in people playing it that they started talking and getting word out about all these things that they're trying to do.
We'll drop it. I think
we are spending a lot of time.
I think we're wrong because it's like one of the biggest games of our lifetime.
So who are we down to now?
I guess we're down to Blizzard, Superhot, Firaxis, Respawn. I think we could drop IO and id. I mean, I would drop Creative Assembly in the same thing. They just made another Total Warhammer game.
Yeah, I'm good with that too.
Total War game. Visual Concepts just made another basketball game.
Who are they? What did they make?
NBA.
Oh, yeah.
It is a good one. It's a great one. It was in some runnings, but.
Respawn, Titanfall 2, Firaxis, Superhot Team.
And you know what? Respawn didn't react well to the beta of what Titanfall was doing wrong. I think that
is true, dude. That beta almost made me not want to buy the game, actually.
Yeah.
But then, luckily, the story was actually really phenomenal. But they didn't make shit for changes in the multiplayer.
And they were kind of like offensive about it, too.
Multiplayer.
They were kind of rude about it. Superhot Team, they made a good gimmick. But that's it. They made one gimmick that's going to get ripped off by a bunch of people soon.
And we can't wait.
Yeah, I know.
Until you destroy bodies.
I'm okay with taking them off, but I think that they did something really amazing.
So, Firaxis, Blizzard, and Niantic.
We can take Niantic off because I know I'm never going to win that battle.
Toby might. Toby's on the fence with it. Leave him in there. Toby's on the. I'm just the one that's passionate against it because I don't enjoy the game anymore, and that's on me maybe for just living in an area.
I felt like you and Amy hated that game, but still played the shit out of it as we talked about it every single week.
I haven't been able to play over the last 6 months. So pretty much
like as we were recording it, you would
yeah.
always hate on it, but then you guys would still consistently play it, which I always thought was weird.
Well,
but also because it's so goddamn compelling of a game, you want to collect all the Pokemon.
You just want to be the guy that has all the Pokemon, dude. There's really no reason to have it.
Made 2 really good games, but they're 2 really good.
It just sucks. There's nothing more in it besides just catching the character.
Yeah, I wish there was like battles like me and Toby could fight. I think that would be kind of interesting.
See, and I think that's what it was for me too. Is like it wasn't like that full Pokemon experience. I mean, I get what you're saying,
but it was like, Pokemon Go. Like it wasn't never sold as a Pokemon.
Exactly, and like I mean, it's like, and I get where you're coming from. Like they did something that like it was.
People traveled the world because they wanted to get a Pokemon.
But I also get what Chad's saying. Like if you didn't have,
I mean Tristan still plays it.
If you didn't have a gym around you, you were kind of SOL.
I was lucky. I was like in a city, and there was tons of Pokemon around.
And so I see where Chad's coming with that. And from what I've heard, there, and again, I live in a city. Like,
yeah.
I mean, so like, what Chad's saying, like, if you didn't live in a big city, did you enjoy the game? And that's like kind of, and I didn't experience that, so I can't speak from experience. Chad can.
And that's the difference.
And the
game Amy gets excited because she works at the mall.
So what did they fix for the,
The outsider, which is barely what, 5%?
And the core game probably, maybe the mechanics are built, those Pokemon populate based on data they're pulling from Google Maps or wherever they are. Or whatever their previous games were with the maps.
So it's like for me, like that's what it is. It's hard for me to argue what you said, and you make a lot of points that like everybody kind of just did what they are known for doing. They just did it really well, where they did something new.
Yeah.
But to Chad's point, if you're not able to play it, you're not able to play it.
Yeah.
Like you can get internet almost like anywhere. And like, yeah, playing online games, there are areas, but it's not to the effect that Pokemon Go, like, you can have your signal and still just like, I mean, not be able to get a gym and not be able to do
that's
things.
true.
So like, it's hard. And like, I mean,
this is a hard category.
It's and again, I would give it to them just because.
Who would you choose, Chad, of these? Would you say Firaxis because they made Civ 6 and XCOM? Even though those 2 games are kind of like...
I'm pretty much leaning on Niantic, but I just kind of want to see.
I
want to make sure.
If you live in the city, Niantic. If you are on the outskirts, it's not. And that's what kills me about it, because I know there's a lot of people that couldn't play it.
And it would have
been easy enough to
What if you don't play any of Blizzard's games? What did they do for you? Why were they the best developer?
Well, because they had 3 games that they supported.
They did what they did well,
and they made Overwatch become, which could have been like.
And I mean that's generally what they do.
Yeah,
I mean,
they did what they do.
They execute flawlessly.
We've historically rewarded developers that execute flawlessly in this category.
My problem with Niantic is there were so many people that were affected by not having what they needed, and they could have fixed that. And like to Chad's point, they chose not to. And it's just like,
I don't think that they chose not to. I just think they focused on different areas. But I don't know.
But they didn't realize the effect that it was having until it was too late.
I'm sure they're sitting there with a pie chart being like you said, 5% of the base or 95% of the base. What do I work on?
But my feeling is that it's more 70-30.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And yeah, it's a lot, but that's still a whole lot of people that you're shitting on. And that's kind of where it kills me.
Blizzard Niantic, where are we at here?
What about Firaxis?
I only enjoyed XCOM 2.
Civ 6, I mean, they made 2 classic games. Like, I think XCOM 2.
So Niantic, Blizzard, really and Firaxis. What are your choices?
So
who's number 1 for you guys?
For me, it's Firaxis because they took 2 games and they did enough on both of those games that they're not the same repetitive thing. Like they're going to be similar to what you played before. It's that type of game. Yeah. But they made improvements on both of them. They did really good things on both of them. Blizzard for me, I don't know.
Toby hates Blizzard.
I'm not a big Overwatch fan. Like
You play it because I play it.
Pretty much.
I say we go with Niantic. I think we do Niantic. I'm voting Niantic.
It's going to be up to you, Chad. I know Chad has suffered the Niantic.
You're going with Firaxis. Who?
I'm going Blizzard.
You can't even make up your mind on the one that you want.
Yeah.
It's a strong Firaxis for me.
Oh my gosh, dude. For the one that impacted me in the most positive way throughout the year. See, Toby, you and Jason were winning me on Niantic slowly and making me realize that, I might be an anomaly.
You're not, though. And that's my thing. If it was that small, I would give it to him. But it was a lot larger than that. And it might not be like a 50-50 thing. But there was a significant amount of people that they kind of, didn't support.
I can't think of another developer that made a game that became this popular in the last 10 years. Like, I can't remember the last video game fad that we've seen. It's rare that someone creates a video game fad, and they legitimately created something that became pop culture history for the rest of our lives, which is kind of interesting.
Or until 2018 when no one plays it anymore.
It doesn't matter. Like, you're always going to remember Pokemon Go.
That is true.
Like,
yeah, you might not.
There's a time you may.
There's always going to be. There's always going to be.
All right.
When's the last time you saw a video game cause 10,000 people to show up in Central Park looking for a fucking character?
Yeah.
And they made that. Those guys created that which is weird.
It was getting fucking weird over the summer of 16. And I have it listed on here as the summer of 16 game. And I'm going to go with Niantic as well. I get it that there's anomalies out there, and they tried their best to support it, and they're over the entire universe and the entire world, and everyone's fucking playing it at the same time. And they did a damn good job of making a cool game. So I'm going to have to go with it, even though I was strongly against it in the beginning. I get it.
And I get why they didn't support it. I get that they should have, but it's just, you can't prepare for that.
You can't. And
yeah, but it took so long to react to it, and that's...
How do you pivot so many ways when you're trying to launch something across the world, and you're trying to satisfy all these countries over here?
And there was a lot of satisfied people while it was broken, too. I mean, they're just like...
It was broken all summer, and nobody cared.
We were just still
Those numbers were going up.
Fuck you, Niantic Labs, dude. The best developer of 2016, and another fucking shootout. Niantic Labs for Pokemon Go. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the Game of the Year Awards 2016. There's plenty more to come, so if you haven't checked them all out, youtube.com/AllertonAvLive. I'm Chad, this is Jason, and Toby. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys for more awards in 2016. Don't know where it's coming from, do ya?
No.